I think the next question is where Danielle might misunderstand us, or like where we might misrepresent ourselves. Like, what's one thing you do in your sex life that might surprise people or that you never thought you'd be into when you first got together? I actually think we're extremely vanilla, but we also, I think, have extremely good sex.
Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. I'm your host, DB. Let's get into it. Here are my top 3 favorite things about Uberlube. Number 1, it makes sex feel so much better. Simple as that. Number 2, it's great for sensitive skin and it's doctor recommended. And number 3, it doesn't stain my sheets or my clothes. Just a little soap and water and you're good. If you're ready for smoother, longer lasting pleasure, head to uberlube.com and use code SEXEDWITHDB for 10% off. We talk about sex ed all the time, but where do you actually shop when you're ready to explore? For me, it's all about Lion's Den. They've been breaking sex toy stigma since 1971, creating bright, welcoming stores and educational resources that help you feel good about what you like. Pleasure is personal, and Lion's Den gets that. Use code SEXEDWITHDB at lionsden.com for 15% off and follow Lion's Den Adult on Instagram and TikTok for giveaways and inspo. Hey everyone, DB here, and I'm very excited to tell you about a podcast that I really love called The Longest Shortest Time. The show is hosted by Hillary Frank, and she covers all aspects of parenthood and reproductive health. She's got an episode called The Staircase about sex ed at her daughter's school. There's one about birth control and the FAA, and another that follows the wild journey of a single trans dad by choice. But she also talks to plenty of non-parents, so you don't have to be a parent to listen. The stories are surprising, fun, edgy, poignant. They'll just give you all the feels. And the show was on hiatus for 5 years, but I'm thrilled that it's back now with new episodes. Find The Longest Shortest Time in all podcast apps or at longestshortesttime.com. What if using a magic wand every day could actually improve your health? I ran a 21-day masturbation experiment to find out, and the results were so powerful, we turned it into a full-blown scientific study. Over 1,000 people with vulvas joined to measure the impact of daily magic wand use on pleasure, stress, sleep, confidence, relationship connectivity, and more. I'll tell you something right now. The effects go way beyond amazing orgasms. Want to see what we found? Head to magicwandstudy.com to check out the study that's redefining sexual wellness. Hey, DB here, your favorite sex educator and pleasure expert, and this is DB's Pleasure Preview, where I give you a little taste of what we're diving into today, why it matters, and how it might just change the way that you think about sex. We're back today with another Between Us episode, a new episode format where we speak with real folks who actually live what we talk about on the show. I love being able to contextualize our experts' insights into real people's day-to-day lives, and I hope you like this format too. If you do, let us know at sexedwithdb@gmail.com or by writing us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, or whatever platform you use for your podcasts. Last episode, we talked to Dr. Lex all about pleasure in long-term monogamy. And if you were one of the first 400 people to listen to that episode, we did have an editing error in there. So we apologize. It is fixed now. Feel free to go back and listen. So sorry about that, but we did fix it. In this episode, I speak with some friends who have been in a long-term monogamous relationship for years, but they haven't always been monogamous. They've chosen to keep their identities anonymous for this conversation. And I just know they're going to find some gold in here. It's so fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. But before we dive into this conversation all about how to keep pleasure alive in a long-term relationship, I just have to tell you about this incredible community campaign from Blue Bella. Blue Bella is a wonderful lingerie brand. I just got to try some of their pieces, and they are hot. I have never worn lingerie like this in my life, let me tell you. There are 2 ways that women can take part in this campaign. Number 1, a casting call where customers and community members are invited to feature in their Valentine's campaign as a literal model and share their own perspectives. Or number 2, a pioneering global survey exploring how women define and experience sensuality, sexuality, and desire in their own lives. Shout out to the absolutely baller sexuality research team, me, Dr. Candace Nicole Hargons, Dr. Shamika Thorpe, and Casey V. Hill, since we are the ones who put this survey together. With the survey, you also have a chance to win a $500 Blue Bella gift card just for filling it out. Pretty neat, huh? Go to the link in the show notes of this episode to learn more how you can get involved in the Blue Bella community campaign. Now, let's get back to business with my anonymous pals. Welcome, friends. We are going to be keeping you anonymous, don't worry, but let's dive right into our questions today. Can you share a little bit about who you are as a couple, like how you met, what drew you to each other, and how long you've been together?
We met on Tinder about 7-8 years ago. It was my second Tinder date.
And it was my first Tinder date. I just moved to the States and realized that my girlfriend wasn't gonna move. So eventually we broke up, and I was just getting into the scene, and then we got matched. And I remember our first date. What really drew me to you was like how kind you were. Besides, of course, you were extremely gorgeous, and I was very intimidated by your beauty.
Were you intimidated by the beauty in real life, or was it because of the Tinder profile pictures? Did you feel less intimidated upon seeing me in real life?
No. And probably that, you had that black leather jacket. That
Bait and switch.
No, on the contrary, like that made you even more gorgeous in my eyes. So I was like, what's a girl like this doing? What it has to do with me? But yeah.
We also liked each other immediately.
Aww.
I liked him upon first setting my eyes on him. It was a very immediate connection. And I wouldn't say immediate sexual attraction or something like that. I just immediately liked him as a person. I knew I liked him just looking at him.
Yeah. We had a long gaze as she was driving away on her Uber. And then as our second date, she took me to an animal shelter, which was also very, the things that I was doing with her felt very new, but also very non-normative in terms of dating. So I really liked that, and I wanted to not catch up, but step up to that.
So our second date, we went to the animal shelter and we picked out a little elderly Chihuahua named Miss Abby and took her home with us.
Yeah.
We broke up shortly after meeting because it was clear to me that he wasn't available for something long-term and or serious, or at least that was my perception based on on his approach to dating. And when we met we re-met approximately a year later.
And by the way, you were right.
I was right.
I wasn't ready for anything serious. I felt like I met you just too early, but I also didn't even fully believe it or comprehend it. So when you broke up with me, I was like, well, I think you're right. I am not fully there. I'm processing a lot of things about changing countries, adapting to a new culture, kind of finding my footing in a new place.
And I also didn't want to date someone who was lukewarm about a relationship. I wanted to meet someone who would look at me and see the person that they wanted to be with, the person that they had been looking for. I wasn't going to try to force somebody to choose me. I wanted it to be like a natural, more natural, and it wasn't that when we met.
Yeah. And I think something we did good was when we broke up, we didn't have any communication.
Yeah, we broke up cleanly, and there was no meanness or...
There was no meanness, there was no lingering, or there was no late night calls you up, there was none of that. I saw you in the city once, a couple months later. I think you saw me in the city once, a couple months later too.
Yeah.
So then when that winter, I kind of came to my senses that, wait, I think found my person, or I stumbled upon my person, and now I have my footing, so I should find a way to reconnect.
Wow. That's a true will they, won't they love story that ended in they will. So I'm really happy to hear that. Especially the part about bringing home a chihuahua on the second date. Very bold, but I'm super into it. But we can't get into that. That could be an entire episode. So you guys are going to have to come back to talk about that. But your love story is so amazing. So thank you so much for sharing that. Moving on, I'm wondering, what has being monogamous looked like for you both over the last 8+ years? Was there a time when you weren't monogamous? And what did that look like?
When we met the second time, I was in a relationship with someone who was poly, and I was experimenting with that approach. So when we met the second time, I told him that we could date again, but this time I already had a boyfriend, and so he needed to be okay with that.
This was a very big moment for me because all my, upbringing, my culture has been telling me that I can't be with someone who has a boyfriend, but at the same time, she's openly telling me that she can date me as long as I'm okay with it. So I remember that one intense night that I kind of outgrew my upbringing, and I was like, what is stopping me from this love, And yeah.
So we were non-monogamous for 6 to 8 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Less than a year.
Yeah.
And it was very smooth. It was not dramatic or challenging. I think that we all three of us got along well.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't particularly salacious or complicated, honestly. And I think it gave us a good sense of each other. It helped me see him in a more complex light. I was surprised at how well he was able to navigate polyamory, and it impressed me, and it gave me confidence that he was someone who could approach and discern,
who had potential for growth.
Yeah, but also an ability to see things in a complex way, non-binary way, just not be needing things to be black or white. It was the world and relationships are so complicated, and I wanted to be with someone who had the capacity to be in things that weren't as straightforward.
That were more nuanced.
Nuanced, yeah, exactly. And I think that you proved that in that time.
But also you made that period very easy on me. If we think of three of us as a spectrum, you were kind of in the middle. I was kind of the most or like I was the most
Not poly.
not poly monogamous person, and then your other boyfriend was very poly, and throughout the time, like, we hung out a couple of times. We weren't like always hanging out as a trio, but there was also no secrecy between us.
Yeah.
And you really made it easy on me to, like, I never felt compared. I never felt, that you were trying to make me jealous about something. Like, you were also, I think, great at being poly. That just made it easier on me.
Yeah, I think that there's a misconception that polyamory has to be complicated and like fraught. And I don't think it does, or at least it wasn't in that situation for us. But we are no longer polyamorous. And we've been in a monogamous relationship now for like 6 years at least.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's so wonderful. And what role does pleasure play in your relationship, both inside and outside of the bedroom? And how has that changed or not changed over time?
We have a lot of different flavors of pleasure in our relationship. It is sometimes more sexual, but also it's a lot of times very sensual. Sometimes it is through, smell or touch or watching our baby do cute things.
Yeah,
or,
I would say like we're more sensual people than we are sexual people in a way. And I think sensuality is more expansive or can be more expansive than sexuality. Like sensuality is your visual environment. It's both the way you present yourself, it's interior design, it's food, it's smell, it's joy.
It's your nervous system.
Yeah.
So it also primes your nervous system for sexual pleasure too.
Right.
And maybe that kind of explains some parts about our sexual experience with each other.
Yeah, because we're not like overtly sexual people, but we are very sensual people.
Yeah, I think in like earlier parts of our relationship, we both had higher libidos. And, I'm always very attracted to you. I just can go into that mode really easily. But life happens. And I think having sensuality as a foundation, it really makes it easy to go in and out of a more sexual mood, and also like elevates it. So sexuality is not like very contained. It's more like a smooth, gradual transition between how we are experiencing each other.
Ooh, I really, really love this distinction between sensuality and sexuality. And knowing you two as well as I do, this makes a ton of sense. And kind of moving into pleasure. When you think about pleasure in your relationship, what practices or rituals help you stay connected and intentional about it, even during super busy or very stressful seasons?
For a while, we instituted a Wednesday night spa night where we would sauna, hot tub, and then like rub oils on each other.
Yeah.
Like do a whole series of like taking care of ourselves and then like making that time to be together. That has fallen off in the last couple of months because we've been so busy, but I feel like that is actually something that we should try to do again.
And I think this kind of ties back to the previous question. At the beginning, it's like this passion-driven sudden spikes. Eventually, when we were trying to get pregnant, it became like
Schedule.
consistent routine workout kind of thing. And it was also very fun. And now, like, 6-7 years in with a kid,
Baby.
with a baby, I really like our current state too, where it is kind of like going out on a nice date. Like, we know what we are gonna do, we know what's gonna happen, and we are looking forward to it. And there's still like exploration and changes and shifts because we desire different things at different times. But there is the excitement of like, yes, we are going there.
Yeah, like opening the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the spa night really helped to create
We just needed to like protect a day,
exactly.
protect a night, so we like actually have focused time together. Because I do think that as life gets busy, it can be a little bit difficult to open the portal from the regular world into a sexual world. Like it's just like once you're in that world, it's great, but it's like a little hard to like get there sometimes. Or like all you have to do is open the door, but it's like it's still
And starting that process with like a sauna or hot tub session, like you are already getting into your body, you are showing more care on your body. Sometimes it's hair masks, sometimes it is new oils that we rub on each other. So there's also like I think leaving that time for a smooth transition from your regular day to your intimate times is also key. Yeah.
Oh, I love the spa day idea. That's so sweet. What is one thing that you do in your sex life that might surprise people or that you never thought you'd actually be into when you first got together?
I actually think we're extremely vanilla, but we also, I think, have extremely good sex.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would be shocked if we are not having 99 percentile sex in terms of pleasure. I would be shocked. My experience of our sex life is that we pretty much max out, or I think I max out in the pleasure my body's capable of. That being said, we are like super vanilla.
I'm thinking about my other sexual experiences.
Great, let's hear about it. I want to hear all about
I'm
it.
not going to go into detail, but it was less vanilla as how ours is. And
more or less pleasurable.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Like, I don't feel when I'm with you, I'm so attracted by your physicality. I'm so attracted by your touch. I just enjoy and like it's very like the pleasure that I'm getting doesn't leave any like room to look for anything more to add.
Was that like, on one hand, it could be in theory more exciting. I could imagine, but was it more pleasurable?
That's I think what I'm trying to point to. It's not really like I think in terms of like in the intimate moments when you're having sex with someone, there's pleasure is like one axis, but there's like multiple orthogonal axes.
Right, there's like a mental, emotional, spiritual, yeah.
Or like exciting, what you're saying, like, like trying something new or like, walking that thin path between pain and pleasure is something that thrill of, I'm doing something that might hurt me, or like that thrill of like, I'm doing something that has been very taboo, is, I think, orthogonal to the pleasure axis.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's what I was saying, what I'm speaking to when I say, like, there's like the measurement of an orgasm, like the strength of an orgasm, one's ability to reach it, and like the height of that pleasure. And I think, despite the pure vanilla quality of our sex life, that my impression and my expectation, or like I estimate that I'm still maxing out like the pleasure level of my orgasm.
yeah,
For whatever reason, we have a lot of access to pleasure, like our specific sexual chemistry and sexual, like the combination of us. And so it makes me think that, I guess that's what I think might be surprising, is I think that there might be this view that in long-term relationships, things get boring and therefore there's not as much pleasure, but that's not my experience of it. Like, yeah, I guess in theory, if someone were to like go into our bedroom, they'd be like, this is pretty boring.
yeah.
But based on talking to other friends, I just think that the type of physical, like the physical quality, the type of orgasms we reach, I think are, again, very, very good.
Sometimes we make it a big deal and then it becomes a big deal.
What?
Like having a whole spa night thing,
Yeah.
like I think, the amount of time and space we sometimes carve out for this, it really enhances the experience, regardless of other, toys or gadgets or.
Okay, yeah, just want to say there's absolutely nothing wrong with being vanilla. Totally great. Lots of people are vanilla and have great sex lives. After 8+ years together, though, how do you keep sex exciting? Whether that's experimenting with fantasies, toys, role play, or just like finding new ways to turn each other on.
I don't think we keep sex exciting.
I mean, it's still very exciting for me.
Oh, really? I wouldn't call it exciting. Or like we don't do anything exciting and we just have really, really good sex.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, sometimes we do stuff like edibles or,
True. Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, I think the way you carry your body in the house is very attractive to me. Like,
say more.
Even if you are just with your robe, and nothing else, having those little glimpses of different corners of your body just arouses me a lot. Yeah, and like I think I'm on the kind of lookout for new ways. Like, Danielle, we got hers and his gummies from her.
Oh, that's right.
That was
I do sometimes feel like when you are doing things to me, in my head I'm like, I wonder if you like did some research. Because sometimes you do come with like a different approach, and I'll think to myself, like, I won't say it out loud in the moment, but I was like, this feels like he's given this some thought, or like
always be learning. Always be learning.
And that leads me to my next question, actually. Always be learning. I love that. How do you keep learning about each other's needs, wants, and boundaries? And what advice would you share with other couples who want to nurture long-term pleasure and intimacy?
Okay, I have two answers to this. The way we learn about each other's needs and wants and boundaries is like talking to each other. But it's not always easy to create the container to talk about these things. So like sometimes this is when we are on a vacation, or sometimes when we are taking a walk, like finding the right moment to bring these up, but also having the intention to like, we're not gonna let this slip by our busy lives. We're gonna keep this as an ongoing thread is important. Like I personally love physical touch, and I was telling you about like different types of physical touch that I perceive, and it's like there's 7, 8 different layers, whereas in her mind it was like 3. So
I don't have as much nuance in touch as you do.
yeah, I think it's about knowing that it's not about your performance, but it's about your partner's pleasure is very important. And then maybe it's about taking some risks. Not risks, but like, let me try it this way, let me try it that way. Like what you're saying, like always be learning and like try new and different ways. Kind of just keeps the other person more engaged and like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Thank you both so much for being here. I am so happy to know you, and I'm so lucky that you're sharing your lives and what it's like to be in a relationship with my audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you, DB.
Welcome to the Afterglow, where we wind things down, reflect on big takeaways, and leave you with one juicy thing to try, think about, or explore before next week. This was such a sweet episode, talking all about my friend's relationship. There were so many great takeaways in such a short amount of time, both philosophical and actionable. First, it's always nice hearing from people who have gone from non-monogamous to monogamous, but don't harbor any harsh feelings towards E&M. Like they talked about, there's this idea that E&M is always complicated and messy, which just isn't true. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, just like any other type of relationship. I also really loved hearing that the way they keep their sex life so good doesn't have any sort of gimmicks involved. It's not about finding new fantasies or positions or toys or tactics. It's just about having great conversations and always learning more about each other. It's about the chemistry and the connection and the touch. Sometimes what you really need to stay passionate isn't trying something outside of your comfort zone. It's about looking inward towards your comfort zone and always getting to know each other better and more as time goes on. I also love the ways that they emphasize spending really intentional, sensual, loving time together, which takes us to our pleasure practice of the week. Plan a spa day for yourself and your partner, or just solo. That's equally important. And don't worry about time constraints and money. What would the ideal sensual spa night look like for you? How would you get in touch with all the pleasure that each of your senses can bring for you? Then pare it down. How could you reasonably accomplish this at home? Maybe it's kicking back with a face mask and a Spotify playlist. Maybe it's a slow, nice massage. Try a spa day or night sometime soon, and then see if you can incorporate it into your schedule or on a regular basis. Thank you so much for listening. Next week is our last episode of the season, and I love y'all. Talk to you next week for our last episode of the season. Not ever, don't worry.